Have you ever really stopped to think about what's happening inside your head just before you say something? It's not quiet in there. There's this massive, hidden network of words, a whole secret web of connections that's firing off every single second. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and take a look at the invisible architecture of our own language.
All right, let's just jump right in with a little game. Look at this sentence. The blank barks loudly. Go on, what word pops into your head? Dog? Maybe puppy? Or hound? Whatever you picked, your brain just did something absolutely incredible. It scanned a giant mental library of options and picked one, almost instantly.
See, that simple little act, just filling in a blank, it actually reveals this huge, hidden network that lives inside your mind. And this is exactly the kind of thing that fascinated the brilliant linguist Ferdinand de Saussure. He basically dedicated his life to figuring out this invisible system.
What Saussure figured out was that for any word we actually say out loud, there are tons of others we didn't say, just kind of lurking below the surface. He had a term for this, in absentia. It just means they aren't physically there in the sentence, but they're always there in our minds, and they're quietly shaping the meaning of the words we do use.
So this whole phenomenon, what did Saussure actually call it? Well, he gave it a pretty specific name, and it really gets to the heart of how our minds keep our vocabulary so perfectly organized. He called them associative relations. And the key thing to get here is that these are 100% mental connections. They aren't on the page, they're not in the air when you speak. They're like the ghost words, The alternatives that are always hovering around the one word you actually decide to say.
Okay, just a quick heads up here. If you ever decide to read more about this stuff, you're almost definitely going to see the term paradigmatic relations. Don't let that throw you. It's just the newer, more modern term for the exact same idea. Associative, paradigmatic, it's all about that mental list of choices we make.
So how does our brain even build this incredible web? Are the connections just random? Not a chance. Saussure saw that they actually follow some really clear, predictable patterns. Let's break down the 4 main ways our minds link words together.
Turns out our minds are super organized. We group words by similar meanings, opposite meanings, similar sounds, and even by the grammatical job they do. Let's take a quick look at each one. First up, we've got the most obvious one, synonyms. When you thought of dog earlier, your brain probably also lit up words like canine, pooch, or hound. They're all in the same mental bucket, right? Because you can pretty much swap one for the other. Next, we have antonyms. Our brains just love a good opposition. The word big is powerfully, almost magnetically, linked to small. Hot is linked to cold. These pairs are in this constant mental tension, and they actually define each other by what they're not. Now, for a connection that's maybe a little more surprising, just pure sound. So the word dog also triggers words like fog, log, and bog. And this isn't some weird accident. This is literally the engine that drives poetry, song lyrics, and yeah, even those really cheesy puns. And finally, there's grammar. Your brain is a grammar expert. It knows that the empty slot in the blank barks needs a noun. So dog gets mentally filed away with cat, house, and car, not because they mean the same thing, but because they all do the same job in a sentence.
Okay, so we've been talking about this hidden vertical list of choices that's always in our minds. But what about the words we actually speak? The ones that are really there? This is where we get to the crucial contrast that makes this whole idea click.
And here is the absolute heart of Saussure's theory. Language operates on 2 axes at the same time. You've got the paradigmatic axis, that's the vertical list of choices we've been talking about, but then you have the syntagmatic axis. That's the horizontal chain of words you actually put together to make a sentence.
So think of it like this. That vertical paradigmatic axis is like a drop-down menu in your brain. When you say the dog barks, you've just selected dog from a whole column of other possibilities, like cat, wolf, or fox. This is the axis of choice.
And then there's the horizontal axis. This is simply the sentence itself. It's the linear chain of words you lay out. The is combined with dog, which is then combined with barks. This is the axis of combination. It's the actual sequence you end up creating.
All right, so we have these vertical choices and these horizontal chains. You might be thinking, okay, cool, but why does this really matter? Well, it's a huge deal because it completely flips our understanding of where meaning actually comes from.
This is the big, profound takeaway from all of Saussure's work. The meaning of a word isn't just something packed inside of it.
A word gets its specific value, its meaning, from how it relates to all the other words in the system, especially all the words you didn't choose.
I mean, really think about that for a second. The word dog is so precise because it isn't cat, which is a different animal, and it isn't log, which just sounds similar, and it isn't God, which is a totally different concept. A word's identity is literally locked in place by this massive web of differences. It's defined by what it is not.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you choose a word, any word, just take a half-second to think about all the words you didn't choose. And ask yourself, what unspoken alternatives are giving that word its real power? What hidden oppositions are shaping the very meaning of your world?